are about to get started. We is about to get started. Give me one more minute. Let's get started. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Man, these cats right here. These Shannon Sharpe and StephenASmith. Oh my God. I think before I get started on all, hold on. I didn't even have my camera open. Hold on, y'all. Let me get my camera situated. I thought I had the shit open. There we go. Before we go in on all of on what's going on with these two, I think we first need a prayer. You know? I think we first need a prayer to rid us of and to sanctify us, Lord. Because it's about to be a whole lot of cooning when I play this video. And you're gonna see Stephen A. This is a good cop, bad cop of cooning that we have right here. We're gonna first start off with Jaylen Brown's interview with Stephen A. and how he, for the most part, checks Stephen A. and his unnamed source. And then over on First Take, Stephen A. and Shannon Sharpe playing good coon, bad coon, you know, in this whole situation. But before we get started, Lord, I pray that for everybody that's listening, I pray that none of these people's coon juice drops on any of us, Lord. Lord, keep us away. Keep us purified and sanctified in holiness and realness, and may the real nigga and nigga in all of us shine through, Lord. this bullshit we about to hear. Because without this prayer, Lord, the cooning is so bad in these videos, Lord. Without this prayer, it's going to touch my audience. And my audience is going to stop listening to me and start listening to Jesse Lee Peterson. So if I don't pray, Lord, my audience, I got to pray with my audience that they have the divine spiritual connection and protection, because without this prayer, Lord, they're going to start watching old Candace Owens videos when she's talking about black people. I don't want to turn my audience into Cynthia G fans, Lord. If without this prayer, listening to this level of cooning, they're going to start watching Fresh and Fit. So I pray that you have everyone's minds right, everyone's minds sharp, so that your goodness shines through and no cooning bleeds off onto my people, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Muhammad. Thank you, Kamala's God, Hindu, whatever the fuck your name is. Thank Buddha. Thank all that. Thank Hare Krishna. Whatever you worship. Pray the cooning vibes off you as we get into today's show, all right? All right, now that that prayer has been done, I want y'all to make sure that y'all join my Patreon, because in 2 hours, me and Dr. Short will be on Patreon talking about Kamala Harris and a lot of this shit that we can't say on YouTube. So Dr. Short and I are going to be over on Patreon, so you make sure y'all click the Patreon link if you want to be a part of Dr. Short and I's live. Yesterday, I broke down Snoop's interview with Stephen A. It was actually a pretty good interview with StephenASmith and Snoop and Dr. Dre. So for all you that are really into music, I gave out some good musical gems yesterday in that interview. All right? But now that we've had that prayer, Lord, now let's get into it, all right? Let's get into it, and you guys, anyone who listens in the sound of my voice, who listens to that prayer, you coon protected for 24 hours, all right? So there's a coon shield around you, so no cooning can penetrate that shell that prayer just put out. And for those of you, for the people who watch later, I'm going to recommend that you guys rewind back to the beginning so you get part of that coon prayer prayed over you. So none of this Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe bullshit is going to get pushed off on you. So now that the Lord has blessed this place, now that we have Jesus and Muhammad and Krishna and whoever the fuck else you worship around, sitting at the council at the table of gods, protecting us from the bullshit. Bro Shock, you just subscribe to the Patreon? Yes, sir. Well, you will be part of the Dr. Short interview in 2 hours. So I'm only going to be with y'all for about an hour and a half today, because I want to be with y'all now so I can smoke my blunt before I start my interview with Dr. Short. All right? So thank y'all. And I want to say I appreciate Jaylen Brown. I'm going to start this interview off so you guys know who Jaylen Brown is. He's going to mention some of his stats and mention where, you know, who he really is. And when he does that, I'm going to start off somewhere in the middle, then I'm going to go back to the beginning of this part. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about it. But let me, hold on. One thing I didn't do, let me go ahead and get myself a screenshot real quick to put over. Okay, let me see here. Let me see if I can get myself real quick an image, because I don't want to play the video. Here it is. I don't want to play the video, but I do want to. I'm gonna play the video, but I'm gonna put a screen over, image over top. All right. Okay. So let me do this. Let me pull the video up, and then we're gonna go through, and we're gonna the first part we're gonna play is Stephen A's part, where Jaylen Brown confronts him, and then we're gonna play the episode, a clip from First Take, where Shannon Sharpe is discussing Stephen A's interview with Jaylen Brown.
And I know you see the shirt.
That's right.
So this is the interview. I'm gonna start. Let me see here. This is who. For those of you who don't know the depths of how great Jaylen Brown is as a man and a basketball player, I'm gonna start with that, and then we're gonna rewind and go back to the rest of the video. So here we go. This is the interview, and as you saw, this same interview we have right here. I'm just putting this image over top so I don't get no motherfucking strike. And also, I'm playing this at 1 point. I'm gonna play this part slower, but most of the video I'm gonna play at like 1.5 speed so we can get through it. But listen to this is who Jaylen Brown is.
Extension, 5 years, over $300 million.
Let me go back to the beginning of that question.
Get into your personal business and try to attack you. I'd have never said anything like that. I'd never let something like that come out of my mouth over the airways or anything like that. But somebody pointing to this individual that went to Cal, this individual, I want to read something here.
Right here. So
at the time that last year, when you agreed to your new contract extension, 5 years, over $300 million, it says here, you're the youngest person to ever hold a lecture at Harvard, became an MIT Media Lab fellow, was offered a NASA internship, became the NBA Players Association youngest vice president at the age of 22 years of age. And when your historic contract was finalized, you were in a robotics session at MIT. Is that true?
That's true.
So this is who Jaylen Brown is. The whole discussion is over Jaylen Brown not being marketable. Back before the finals started last year, StephenASmith said that an unnamed source said that Jaylen Brown is unmarketable. But that's who he is. He negotiated at the time the biggest contract in NBA history for himself. He was on a fellowship at Harvard. He does robotics. He was the finals MVP. He was the Eastern Conference MVP. He's one of the top 5 players in all of basketball. But they did not allow him to make the U.S. Olympic team. And they act as if he stole something. I'll tell you what he did steal. Jaylen Brown, you stole a lot. You stole these racist-ass white folks' pride. That's what you stole. I ain't talking about all white folks, but these racist motherfuckers, you stole their pride by being that great at so many things and not just being a dumb athlete. And you also stole the pride of people like StephenASmith and Shannon Sharpe. Black people that think they have to be professional white ass kissers to get to where they need to get to. Tad Lawson says StephenASmith has a civil rights movement gravedigger headline. Yeah. That motherfucker StephenASmith, goddamn, when he wipes his brow, he does this. StephenASmith, you just need to do what I do, brother. You just need to do what I do and just come on home and cut it all off. You over here talking about some high. Like, nigga, are you serious? So, yeah, right. They don't want another Paul Robeson around Anthony Bolton. They don't want another Muhammad Ali. And don't let them tell you black athletes that speak up are marketable. Paul Robeson was the most famous athlete in the world in the 1920s and 1930s. He was also somebody who sang, played football, played basketball, did a whole lot. Good point. Oh shit, my nigga Andre up in the chat. You got them 741s on pre-order, yeah. So let's go back to the beginning of the interview. This segment of the interview. I'm not doing the whole interview, but this segment. And I need you guys to listen along with me, because I'm playing this back at 1.5 speed. Okay, I'm playing this back at 1.5 speed so I can get through a lot, because I got limited time before we get to over to Patreon and talk to Dr. Randy Short. So let's go.
And
come on now.
I wanted to start the conversation.
Okay.
Get into it. And I know you see the shirt.
That's right. State your source. State your source.
Yes.
Oh, we're gonna get into all of that.
For sure.
No question.
And honestly, I wore the shirt, because like this is where I wanted to start the conversation.
Okay.
Get into it. And to be honest, you know,
Pull the mic closer to you, so I want to make sure the audience hears you. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I think it's deeper than rap.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. Let me put this image up. I mean, I ain't trying to get a strike. What am I doing? Here we go. This we talking about state your source. Jaylen Brown ingeniously created a whole T-shirt movement when StephenASmith said that unnamed source said that Jaylen Brown's unmarketable. Jaylen Brown came out with state your source hashtag, and then he came out with these state your source T-shirts saying, okay, state your source then if it really happened. But this is him confronting StephenASmith over that unnamed source.
I think it's bigger than both you and I. Like, obviously, your credentials are through the roof, you know, covering AI to First Take being the #1 show, and now taking the world by storm with your new podcast. So I wore this shirt, but I honestly, I know just because of your credentials that you're never going to reveal the sources, because you abide by something called journalistic integrity.
Right.
But hear me out.
Sure.
A couple months back, on your platform, you recited an unnamed source who I feel like attacked my character.
That was what we played on a cold open, by the way. Sure.
And one, I didn't really get a chance to defend myself, and two, you know, the damage kind of already is done. And I think journalistic integrity goes two ways.
Yes, sir.
So for me, I think a lot of people were upset, and as was I, because I understand journalistic integrity, and I understand how that works, but I also understand the idea of normal integrity as well, and I also want to maintain and protect that.
Sure. I want to go past that point he just made. He's made a great point. What's up, Tori and Rain Reloaded? Y'all need to subscribe to that brother's channel. One of my absolute favorite channels on YouTube. He says, StephenASmith lie like Pinocchio when he lies, except his hairline recedes every time he tap dances. Come on now. That's a lot of tap dancing right there, because shit, StephenASmith. Damn, that motherfucker, that hairline is gone. That motherfucker got the Bert and Ernie hairline. But going back to the point he just said, Jaylen Brown said that something very critical. He's telling StephenASmith, look, I understand you have journalistic integrity, quote unquote, and you're not part of journalistic integrity is to not name your sources. But then there's also integrity as a man. And as a man, although you may have had a source that says something, as a man, Jaylen Brown went right to challenge StephenASmith as a man. As a man, there's another level of integrity that goes beyond journalistic integrity. And that level of integrity says, why would you report on something that you know that could possibly hurt another black man? Ooh, that's a deep question. Let's go back.
How that works, but I also understand the idea of normal integrity as well, and I also want to maintain and protect that.
Sure.
So to start off, I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
And profession aside, you know, as a #1 reporter with the biggest platform in the world, I hold you accountable.
Please
so
do.
Is there ever any dissension from what you report on as a man, what you report on as a reporter, and then what you stand for as an individual? Like when you go home, is there ever any dissension in the decisions that you make?
He's asking, is there any dissension between your job and who you are as a man? Now listen to this answer.
For the most part, no, because I find myself to be humane and fair.
He said, for the most part, no. I don't really have any regrets because I feel like I'm humane and fair. That was StephenASmith's answer. So right there is telling you, on the man side of integrity, he doesn't have much. But remind you, this is the same StephenASmith that said he wakes up every morning remember a couple years ago when he said, I wake up every morning to find out how to make my bosses more rich? Remember StephenASmith said that. Let me see if I can find that part. Let me see if I can find that part. Let me see here. Here it is. Remember when StephenASmith tweeted this? I wake up. This is StephenASmith's personal Twitter Instagram account and a screenshot from his Twitter from 173 weeks ago. You see, this is his official account with the blue check next to it. I wake up every morning with two thoughts. One, how do I make my bosses more money? And two, how do I get some of it? So right there, he's showing you that he puts himself second, that his bosses go first. So understand that's the context of StephenASmith. This is a man that puts his bosses first, himself as a man second. So off top, it doesn't surprise me that he does not have that internal conflict, because he, by default, for you to wake up trying to figure out how to put money in the pockets of evil people, and if you work for Disney, you definitely work for some of the most evil, sadistic people on the planet. So if your intention is to wake up to please them, that means you're waking up to be evil. Let's not pull punches. If you're pleasing Disney, you're pleasing evil. And if you're waking up every day to please evil, that means your level of morals and scruples are in question. I'm not saying everyone who works for Disney is like that, because there's some people that work at Disney that say, you know what? And everybody who works for a company, those companies have certain levels of immorality. But a lot of us, well, I don't have a day job anymore, but a lot of people who have day jobs, you wake up and you waking up with the intention on feeding your family, and whatever you got to do is whatever you got to do. You ain't trying to think about how to make your bosses more money. You ain't really thinking about that. But somebody that has that expressed interest, that shows you a whole lot about who they are. Right? I'm over here sounding like Stephen Urkel. Then I ain't do that. Am I right? Let's keep going. I got too many windows open on my computer. Hold on. Let me close some of these windows so that my shit can run a little bit smoother. 1 second. Closing windows. Y'all know how it is when y'all got too much shit open. All right, let's keep going.
But in the same breath, when we take this example, let me use this example that you're talking about, but what I said was text to me about you. And by the way, others had said it.
Somebody in the chat room said, don't bite the hand that feeds you theory, perhaps. Kelvin, I question your morality, brother. I'm just saying, look, let's break this down. There's a huge gap between not biting the hand that feeds you and you being downright a downright degenerate to please evil people. And then at some point, if you're getting fed by a poisonous hand, do you now see that you're poisoned? If a poisonous hand is the one that's feeding you, that means you're eating poison. So that's not really something to hide behind, brother. Not buying the hand that feeds you. If the hand that feeds you, if somebody dipped their hand in shit and then picked up a cracker and gave it to you and told you to eat that cracker, you know what that means? You're eating the cracker laced in shit. Even if you don't bite the hand still dipped its hand in shit before it gave you that cracker. So you don't have to bite the hand that fed you. No black man should put a company before himself. Real talk. As black men, we got to know better. But StephenASmith is, not all the way 100% foundational black American. So he works in America for a different reason than the rest of us. But let's go back and listen to this part.
and fair. But in the same breath, when we take this example, let me use this example that you're talking about, but what I said was text to me about you. And by the way, others had said it as well. I wasn't talking about how I feel. You and I have been cool for years. You've always been good to me. What I was trying to say was, this brother is great. He's great on the basketball court. He's great off the basketball court. He's an individual of very high integrity, highly educated, whom most people that you encounter considers you nothing short of brilliant. And yet, these opportunities that clearly you are deserving of and should be afforded to you was not. And so when I brought that up, I literally get a text in the middle of the show. And immediately after the show, I got 3 separate phone calls. And they were like, yo, this guy is not liked by some of the powers that be. Because
So what StephenASmith is doing now, he's doing some rat ass move by saying, hey, look, the tweet was sent out by, I mean, this was what I was told. I don't necessarily agree with it. But I said it anyway. Yeah, Kelvin, he said he's talking like Steve Harvey against Monique. Right. Y'all see how this shit rhymes and goes on? So you see this, what we talking about here. You see what we talking about here. StephenASmith is now playing the plausible deniability game. Does that not always come up when we're talking about how white supremacy works? And understand, when we're talking about white supremacy, it does not just mean from a white person. There are plenty of black white supremacists who buy into the white supremacy game, and Stephen A. and Shannon Sharpe are 2 of those kind of niggas. Steve Harvey, that's all kind of the same kind of nigga. You dig? So he's playing the plausible deniability game. Look, I agree with you, Jaylen. I agree. I'm just saying that's what people said. And that's why Jaylen Brown asked that question. Do you have any integrity when it comes to this? Is there ever one side of you saying, you know what? Although I got this source that said these things, because I'm cool with this guy, because I know better, and because this source saying this can take money out of this black man's pockets, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to tell y'all right now. I'm going to turn my light back on. I'm turning my light off when I'm not on camera, so I ain't got this shit in my eye. But let me tell y'all something right now. As much as I talk about music, as much as I talk about what goes on in the entertainment world, I don't tell y'all nothing. I really don't tell y'all nothing. I am somewhat of a whistleblower, but I'm a whistleblower when someone tells me to help them blow the whistle because their voice isn't loud enough. I see shit all the time. I don't run to the internet and talk about it if it can damage somebody, especially if I see something that happens to somebody and they make. I've been in NBA, in the Staples Center, in the Target Center in Minnesota, in Miami at the American Airlines Arena, in Dallas at the American Airlines Arena. I've been in these stadiums and I've seen things happen. I've seen players fight. And I didn't go to the internet like, oh, look, man, somebody got knocked out. Why? Because if I tweet that player stopped that player, it's going to take money out of that player's account. NBA don't like certain things that you know. When I be around the NBA environment, NFL, I see things all the time. I know some things like people trust me, so I get told shit that I didn't necessarily ask to be told. My channel could easily look. Let me tell y'all something about who the fuck I am. My channel could easily be 10 times larger if I came to y'all with most of the shit that I know, but I don't, because it's gonna take money out of somebody's pockets. Yes, it's a salacious story, and again, ain't nobody hurt nobody. Like I don't hide. If I know somebody is a goddamn child molester, I'm gonna fucking report them. I'm a mandated reporter. I'm not no more, but I used to be one. But I still live by those mandated reporting guidelines. I ain't talking about that kind of stuff. But I do know stuff where this person socked that person stole from this person. And these are very good stories. And I'm a great storyteller. And I can easily tell these stories without saying allegedly, because I would dare that person or those people to say I'm wrong because I got the evidence. But I'm not going to do it because if I talk about the story, somebody in that story gonna come up short. And I ain't about to be in the middle of somebody's money coming up short, especially if they ain't really hurt nobody in the big scheme of things. It just really, like I saw some shit that happened in comedy a couple of weeks ago that was fucking hilarious. And I heard, it's somebody I know got knocked the fuck out about 3 weeks ago in music. And if I told that person's name who I know got knocked out and put it in the title here at YouTube, I could get a whole lot of fucking views. But I'm never gonna do it. Because that person getting knocked out was the issue between that man and another man. And if I tell the man who knocked him out, the man who knocked him out, bread gonna be fucked up because comedy venues and sports venues don't like people who aggressively fight. And if I tell the story of the person who got knocked out, that motherfucker like playing tough. It's gonna shatter his whole wimp and it's gonna fuck up his. So I ain't saying shit. Why would I take money out of two black men's hands so I can get a couple fucking views on YouTube? I love y'all, but I don't love you niggas that much to take money out of another black man's hand because it's a gossipy story I can tell. Ooh, that's corny shit. And StephenASmith, you a cornball. And any nigga who like that is a cornball. There's a line between doing your job and being a man. There's a line between doing your job and having integrity. There's a line between doing your job and making sure that everybody else can eat too. There's a line between that shit. And StephenASmith ain't got that line. I don't respect it. When you say things like what Tyler Perry allegedly did to Monique when Monique was complaining. When you go around saying things like this black person is hard to work with, this black person is difficult, you know that's taking money out that man's pockets. You know it. And you still did it. I don't respect it. I'm going to fast forward to this part.
They can call all their buddies.
This is Jaylen Brown basically talking to us. Jaylen Brown's smart. He on one hand, he held StephenASmith accountable, but on the other hand, he knows StephenASmith ain't gonna come clean. So Jaylen Brown sends a message out to StephenASmith's quote unquote sources, and then StephenASmith is gonna respond. Listen up.
And I basically wanted to say to them that I think it's cowardice. I think historically unnamed sources have attacked some of our greats, and we are not responsible for what they lack in design. Frankly, they can call all their buddies, they pals and friends from all over the world, all the unnamed sources, and they can shove it where they got it from. Whether they think I'm marketable or not, I walk with God. I'm gonna be me and stand with my community in this life and the next, and that's my journalistic integrity.
Okay.
Oh, see?
I wanted to get that off my chest.
Sure. That's what I'm gonna do. Y'all ain't shit. Jaylen Brown told him, y'all ain't shit. I'm still gonna be the man. And my journalistic integrity is standing on my own 2 feet, and I'm gonna be like this in this life and the next. Hit him with, I'm gonna be like that nigga Jaylen Brown hit him on the, I'm gonna be like this now and in the next lifetime. Jaylen Brown hit him. Jaylen Brown hit him with. He said, "No hard feelings. I'll see you next lifetime," is what he said. Appreciate the Cash App, Kelvin Lemon. I appreciate the Cash App. He said, I'll see you next lifetime, nigga. Ha! I love it. Now listen to StephenASmith right here defend this cooning.
Now you start the interview.
You can get it all off your chest. I'm not going away because I got to tell you something. I don't understand why somebody saying what others may feel about you to hold you back and they know that you've done nothing to deserve it. I don't understand how that's cowardice for them to talk about what somebody else is feeling. Like, for example, I'm looking at...
He's saying, I don't know how it's cowardice. What StephenASmith basically just said here is, I don't know how it's cowardice for somebody to sit behind an unnamed source, whoever this unnamed source is. StephenASmith is make it very clear, he's defending his unnamed source. He's saying, how can my source be a coward? If my source sees this going on, if my source sees what's happening, and they say something to me, how they're a coward. I'll tell you how they're a coward, StephenASmith. They didn't come out and say it themselves. They sat behind you. That's how they're a coward. But let's listen to the rest of this coon splain that he has.
It's you. And I think about Bill Russell, how principled he was. I think about Muhammad Ali, how principled he was. I think about Kurt Flood, who was the father, of free agency. When you think about what he did in Major League Baseball, I think about Jackie Robinson integrating the sport of baseball. I think about so many highly educated, highly accomplished, highly principled individuals. The word likability is not something that you would attach to them when it came to Madison Avenue and marketability and promotion. So
StephenASmith said, marketability isn't what you'd attach to black people who spoke out. Huh? Muhammad Ali is probably the most marketed athlete of all time. Images of Muhammad Ali are all across the planet. Listen to StephenASmith lie to our fucking face, y'all. Listen to him lie to our face. He just said, this man just said Muhammad Ali isn't marketable. All the movies made about Muhammad Ali, he's not marketable. Paul Robeson before the 1960s was one of the most famous black men on the planet. Speaking of, see, that's a whole myth about militancy not being marketable. Militant people, Che Guevara. How many images of Che do you see from people who don't know who the fuck Che is? Malcolm X, Bob Marley. We can go down the line. The most marketable song in Marvin Gaye's illustrious marketing career let me show y'all something, is What's Going On? Mercy, Mercy Me. How is it that being militant isn't marketable when you look and see the most streamed songs of all time from Marvin Gaye is a song about what's going on?
We don't need to escalate.
Mercy, Mercy Me. What's going on in the world? Militant songs be more marketable than love songs. Look at that. What is this dude talking about? Not marketable. We see up and down the line people who are militant that are marketable. The problem is they don't like, the powers that be would rather there not be a marketable militant person. That's the issue. Not that militant people aren't marketable. It's that they rather choose people who aren't. That's a choice that they have. Not because militancy isn't marketable. It's because they choose to not market militant people. It is a choice. It's not a fact. It's a choice. And we got to understand that as a people. That's the choice these thugs make, to not market people who are about their shit. That's a choice, not a fact. Michael Jackson, militant as hell. All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Stevie Wonder, militant as hell. Stevie Wonder was the first black artist to really cross over without having to cross over to a white sound. Do y'all know that? Well, maybe Ray Charles. But Ray Charles did country. when Stevie Wonder was the first artist to really be all the way black and still be pop. He wasn't intentionally playing to a white sound. When you listen to a lot of your early Motown, Berry Gordy was very clear with this is the sound of young America. This isn't the sound of black America, it's the sound of all America. Motown throughout the 60s was a sound that was created that was totally black, but it was made to be marketable to whites. That's how Motown worked. But see, y'all didn't know, look, y'all know me, I'm gonna tie everything back to music. Music is my love. Y'all didn't know y'all was gonna get no fucking musical lesson with some sports, did you? But let me tell you something. When I used to coach basketball, I used the same fucking principles I had when I coach, when I teach the drums and when I do music. Music and basketball operate on the same dynamic principles. The same principles. For those you don't know, Stevie Wonder had a 5-album run from Music of My Mind through Songs in the Key of Life. That was all going into social consciousness. He kind of touched on it a little bit. This is my favorite, one of my favorite Stevie Wonder songs. I believe I know you very well. It started with this album, and Music of My Mind, and I'm gonna do a Stevie Wonder run on Patreon at some point in the next 2 weeks and go further on this. But it started here really with Talking Book in 1972. When he came in with this song right here called Big Brother. Look at the lyrics of this song. Your name is Big Brother. You say that you're watching me on the telly, seeing me go anywhere. You tired of me protesting, children dying every day. My name is nobody, but I can't wait to see your face inside my door. Stevie Wonder was talking about how Big Brother uses the TV to monitor us in 1972. And guess what? This went to his first Grammy right here. Stevie Wonder talking about what's going on in the world is what crossed Stevie Wonder over. When Stevie Wonder was doing the love songs, the popular stuff, he was cool, he was famous. But Stevie Wonder went through the stratosphere on this 5-album run. Living for the City. Talking about, this song right here is a breakdown of racism in the North. Even to this day, they always try to classify racism as a Southern thing. This man, on this song right here, he's talking about being born in Mississippi. Born in hot-dot Mississippi, surrounded by... He starts out with that, but then he talks about driving up to the North and how once he goes up to the North, he's arrested, beat, and whooped on. When he gets to that part, here it is. I think this part. It's not that part. I'm not gonna get to that part. I don't want to get a strike. But it comes a part on this song where he gets off you hear him get off the bus, and as soon as he gets off the bus, somebody hands him some drugs, and the police blame it on him, and they beat him. You know, Stevie Wonder crossed over by telling it and getting militant and telling it how it is. Then he got to fulfilling his first finale, and he went on to this song right here. Look at the most popular song on this album. Look at the most popular string song. This is after the album is bought. 10-1. You Haven't Done Nothing is the most streamed song. Well, Boogie Wrong Reggae 1 had a third of the streams. But everything else, You Haven't Done Nothing has 10 times more streams. We are amazed but not amused by all the things you said that you'll do. Though much concerned but not involved with decisions that are made by you. But we are sick and tired of hearing your song telling how you're going to change right from wrong, Kamala Harris. Because if you really want to hear our views, you haven't done nothing. We can sing this shit for Kamala Harris right now. You've been the vice president for 4 years talking about what you gonna do and you ain't done nothing.
Not too cool to be ridiculed, but you brought this up on yourself.
It's not too cool to be ridiculed, but you brought this upon yourself. The world is trying to pacify. We want the truth and nothing else. And we are sick and tired of hearing your song. Then Stevie Wonder's so goddamn dope, he had the Jackson 5 singing background.
Jackson 5 don't love when they say
You mean to tell me militancy isn't marketable when Stevie Wonder's most militant song on this album is outplaying all the love songs 10-1? Militancy is most definitely marketable. They choose not to market it. Then he came back with the greatest album of all time, in my opinion. Songs in the Key of Life. And Stevie Wonder told us that love is in need of love today. It's a whole lot of shit going on right now, you know?
tears and pain. It's that love in need.
Of love today. Don't delay. Send yours in right away. That's one of the formula on the drums. Wait and hold the snare to the 4. Quiet, click on the 2, snare on the 4. It brings people together, that feel. You know that feeling where you just miss the 2 but hit on the 4? It makes, when you, listen to this part, how it makes you rock back and forth.
Of love today.
That feeling right there gets that rock emotion in you, and it make you want to bring everybody together. So what the fuck are you talking about, Stephen A. Smith, about marketability not being tied to militancy? That's something they want us to believe. It's not true. It's not true. It's a farce. Militancy is most definitely marketable. This is the last part that I'm going to get on to the Shannon Sharpe part.
And I'm going to be myself in this life and the next. And that's what I stand on.
And who are you, Jaylen Brown? You describe yourself. Who are you?
I am a man living through his purpose. You know, I think God has an extreme influence on my life. So as he says, I go. I am extremely passionate about like the things that I care about and the things that I love, and I'm willing to sacrifice anything for my family, my community, or society to be in a better place.
I watched you during the NBA playoffs, and I love.
He talks about who he is, and I want to get to this part. He says about masculinity right here. And this is the part that really, I could tell it tightens Stephen A's sphincter. Real tight.
Awards and things like that. Popularity. And I would be lying if I said it didn't bother me, because there's a lot of organizations, there's a lot of things that need to be changed. We see the results from our former players, we see the results in our community, and nobody thinks that we need to change some of these cycles. So you should feel a certain type of way when I walk into the room. And that has caused me to...
I would him say, what Jaylen Brown was saying right there was, Stephen Smith had asked him, how does it feel when you walk into the room? He's like, it used to bother him that people used to get tight when he walked in the room, but stuff is messed up. And there's a lot of people basically out there who are invested in stuff being messed up. So yeah, when I walk into a room, they should feel tight because they know I'm not about that BS.
Miss out on opportunities, awards, and things like that. Popularity. And I would be lying if I said it didn't bother me earlier in my career, but I got to the point where I fully embraced it. I walk into my masculinity. I know exactly who I am, and I'm comfortable with that. You know, whether it goes left or right, whatever direction it goes for me, my platform, whether something shakes tomorrow, like I can live with the fact that I'm gonna stand on my principles and my values to the end.
You realize that
I'm gonna stand on my principles and values to the end. I fucks with Jaylen Brown. I just hate the fact that he's a goddamn Boston Celtics. I hate the Celtics. I'm a Laker fan. The Celtics got my favorite player, and the Lakers got the player I like the least, LeBron. God damn, we live in a fucked up world right now. I appreciate the cash app, Aaron Wilson. How the team I hate the most across all sports got my favorite player, and the team I love the most across all sports got the biggest fraud, fake, welcome home, Big Meech, ain't no party but a Diddy party, fake fraud ass nigga on earth. God damn, my sports life is fucked up right now. Lord Jesus. What's up, Mama Zeke? But damn. Damn. So, somebody said, stop hating on Brian. No, you stop being a sissy. How about that? Stop hating. That man said, I ain't no party like a Diddy party. Not me. That man welcome home Big Meech. Not me. You better watch your heroes, nigga. That man forcing his son to play basketball, even though you can see all on his face, that little boy don't want to be out there. Go look at him, nigga, not me. And if you listen to what they saying, they telling you who's marketable right here. Somebody said, I can see not voting for Kamala, but how someone can vote for Trump is beyond you. Well, people might vote for Trump because Trump is saying no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. That's dollars and cents to a lot of people. So I can understand why people would vote for Trump. Every president in Laker history, in United States history was racist. So that's your Bill Clinton, Obama, all them niggas is racist. So if the person running for office is throwing you something, I understand why you might be voting for them. Somebody said you Laker fans didn't deserve that championship. What championship? Stupid. That was a bubble. Us Laker fans don't give a fuck about no bubble chip. Only you fucking weird ass bronsexuals care about that fake ass championship that nobody respects. Fuck out of here. Lakers got 16 legitimate championships. You think we give a fuck about a bubble? It's always you bronsexuals coming around Laker fans telling us what we don't deserve. No, nigga, y'all don't deserve to be rooting the Lakers. You niggas support losers. We don't like y'all around Lakerville. You fucking losers. I'm gonna support him because he's a good father. Fuck out of here, nigga. All these niggas is good fathers. Most of these niggas in the NBA are good fathers, actually. I've been around. Most of them niggas is good fathers. So y'all set the bar real low when y'all say some dumb shit like that. Most, I would say, go so far as say 9 out of 10 players are good fathers. So let's go to this Shannon Sharpe part right here, all right? Hey, that's right, as far as voting for Trump. And Trump ain't changing boys into girls. Right. Yeah, that's right, long way ago. These bronsexuals, these kind of niggas are the worst, man. They be in the way, defending the wrong kind of niggas. We over here talking about a real nigga and Jaylen Brown. And here y'all come talking about the media's boy. But listen to Shannon Sharpe, LeBron's biggest fanboy. Listen to LeBron's biggest fanboy talk about what America needs to market a black person.
Take a listen to what Shannon.
This is from Dreamers Pro Sports. Got this clip for me because I don't watch his bullshit. I like watching Dreamers Pro Sports. Go join and subscribe his channel. Dreamer Pro Sports. Dreamers Pro. God damn it. I'm fucking his name up. Dreamers Pro. I got this clip from his channel.
Sharpe had to say here.
Guys, some of the biggest stories in the history of America has been broken by sources. And a lot of times journalists are willing to go to jail to not reveal their sources. And sometimes the court system will threaten them. And they say, well, you're just going to have to put me in jail. Because if you rely on sources to do your job, once you give them up, you will no longer have a job. Nobody will ever trust you again to tell you information. Now, the problem, I don't have a problem. I think Jaylen Brown should be commended. But Stephen A., guys, Wendy, Shams, you know this. When you take the approach that Jaylen Brown has taken, that he's going to be outspoken about his community and things that he sees, you have to understand, you get to control your actions. You don't get to control the consequences that comes of your actions. Hey, y'all can cover up that logo, but y'all gonna be in them Reebok uniforms because they are the official outfitter of the 92 Olympics. Jaylen, bro, you're not never. No person has ever been bigger than the sport itself. You're not about to be the first. Not Jordan, not LeBron, not Magic, not Bird, not Steph, not KD. Whatever the sport, pick a sport. No athlete's ever been bigger. Bro, I love what you do for your community. I
Hit that fake ass. I love what you. Man, let me finish.
love how you stand
No,
up
you don't.
and speak positive about our
No, you
community.
don't, nigga.
I love how you're trying to bring financial
you don't.
literacy to our community.
No, you don't.
But bro, it's not the end of the world because people don't think that Madison Avenue don't think you're marketable. It's not the end all be all because you're still a hell of a ball player.
But Shannon, it doesn't make it right that he should be punished for that.
Right.
And you know that more than anybody. Speaking
We
out
all
on
know
behalf
that.
of
We
your
all
community.
know that,
agree,
Molly.
but
We all know that, Molly.
Yes, Molly,
You still have
I
to-
agree
you still have to respect
1,000%.
that. Yeah.
I respect his decision. But Molly, again, you control your actions. You don't get to control the consequences that comes along with it.
Yeah.
So you
So there you go. Shannon Sharpe says, you control your actions. See, this is what I'm talking about here. These two black men had a choice. StephenASmith and Shannon Sharpe. And here's the choice. On StephenASmith's side, do you take what that unnamed source text you and repeat it? Or do you take the unnamed source, what they text you, and say, you know what? Although this might be true on certain levels, although it may have certain levels of truth, I'm not gonna put it out there because I'm not gonna put my name on taking money out of that black man's pockets. Because StephenASmith, you sure didn't really report on Josh Giddey when that white boy was sleeping with, when it was alleged that he was sleeping with that 16-year-old girl. You only made slight mention of it. You protected Josh Giddey. I remember StephenASmith back in the day. For those of you who old school sports watchers like me, y'all remember what's his name? Ben Roethlisberger? Shannon Sharpe didn't say much about Ben Roethlisberger. He didn't talk about Peyton Manning and all the different things that can affect Peyton Manning's money. He didn't talk about the owner of the Patriots, Robert Kraft, when he was part of that sex parlor that was part of a sex trafficking ring. He didn't talk about that. A lot of things that journalistic integrity, StephenASmith don't talk about to protect certain groups of people. But when it comes down to it, he can now be a blabbermouth and all open to things that don't protect black people, that exposes a black person and takes money out of a black person's pockets. And then you have Shannon Sharpe coming around saying, I know what it's supposed to be, but you know what it is. Shannon Sharpe also had a choice. Shannon Sharpe could have used his microphone, Shannon Sharpe being someone who has the biggest interview podcast on the planet right now, his club Shay Shay, and being part of the biggest TV show in sports, First Take. He could have used his platform to call out Madison Avenue. He could have said, well, Stephen A., we see that Muhammad Ali is one of the most marketable people of all time, and he was very militant. Why can't they put the money behind Jaylen Brown? He was MVP of the finals. He was MVP of the Eastern Conference playoffs. Sounded like Daffy Duck. You could have easily been like, Jaylen Brown, he was the MVP of all this shit. He could have easily said all that shit. But no. He took the route of, boy, you need to know your place. I got a tied tongue and I talk like Daffy Duck and I talk like that so Master don't think I'm too smart so that I can just go ahead and get my paycheck so I don't get too many beatings. That's what Shannon Sharpe said. I don't want to get beatings by Master. I want Master to pay me. So if you want Master to pay you, you got to set it up and dribble. Sounded like a tired tongue dog catcher. These two black men had a choice. One, to not even make it a topic, Stephen A. Two, since it did become a topic, Shannon Sharpe, you could have stood for him the same way you stand for LeBron. The same way, why talk about journalistic integrity? Why ain't nobody talking about LeBron James' steroid use or suspected steroid use? When Chael Sonnen talked about LeBron's steroid use, StephenASmith don't have no journalistic integrity to go ahead and cover that and say, well, unnamed sources said, y'all, well, what was that, Shannon Sharpe? You know how to cover for a black man when it suits your interests. Why are you going to the black man that's trying to help everybody? Y'all elevate the black man that's selfish and only looks out for self, but when it comes to a black man that looks out for his community, y'all dog him. But when it comes to a black man that say, my stats, my thing, me this, me that, crown me, I'm this, I'm that. Oh yeah, he the king. But then a black man says, you know what? It's bigger than me. It's about my community. Boy, you should know better. Yeah, I said it. And any of you broad sexuals that got a problem with it can kiss my ass. Ain't my fault you niggas is in love for an attention seeking, for an attention whore that don't do shit for black people other than say, look at how great I am. Fuck the rest of y'all. Welcome home, Big Meech. Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Fuck y'all. And anybody defending that bullshit. You got to know the difference between a man and they man. Black niggas, y'all too old for this. You got to know the difference between a man and their man. Let's break this down. A man is somebody who says, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not only going to make it right for me, I'm going to go ahead and make it right for my community. It's bigger than me and my family. It's about black people. It's about all of us. Their man says, look at me. I'm great. And through my greatness, I'm going to inspire the rest of y'all because of what I'm doing. And my boss right here just gave me this check to go and open up this school. That's what the difference between their man and a man. A lot of you niggas don't know the difference between their man and a real man. Like Kyrie Irving. Y'all remember when LeBron came out and spoke against Kyrie? Nah, man, he should just go ahead and take that jab. That nigga spoke against Kyrie Irving when Kyrie Irving stood on his own 2 feet. Instead of supporting his former teammate, he went out there and tried to get his former teammate in line. LeBron is they man. Jay-Z is their man. Obama is their man. Puffy was their man. They about to lock his ass up. Learn the difference between a man and their man. It's a huge difference. Don't fuck with me. Because the truth is, a man don't get promoted by them people. Somebody says, LeBron never been called steroids. Yeah, because the steroids came in his wife's name, you fucking idiot. That's why. Yeah, okay, yeah, Savannah James needs steroids. Savannah and LeBron's trainer needs steroids. Okay. I guess Savannah's the one that's running up and down the court in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left, trying to dunk on people. All right. I guess you believe Savannah is on roids and LeBron's not. Okay. All right. All I know is Chael Sonnen wasn't hit with a cease and desist. I know that much. You got no difference between a prop and the real thing. This is from Deadspin last year. There hasn't been a performance-enhancing drug scandal in basketball, at least not to the level of likes of Balco and baseball. Talks about this and it goes in talking about how, like, in the report, LeBron James was most definitely cleared, but his longtime friend and business partner, Ernest Mims, and his trainer, David Alexander, were named in the investigation. His friend, his trainer, and his wife. But I usually don't tell much about the LeBron James. I've been hearing about steroids and him going back to 2010. But a lot of you niggas is just dick riders, so you'll tell them the story. They'll be like, oh, it didn't happen. Okay. Savannah's on, I guess the Savannah out there lifting weights, huh? I guess y'all saying I guess when y'all saying that story, so y'all saying that this woman needs on steroids. This is what you dick riders trying to say. She needs steroids. Huh? Is that what y'all saying? See, this is what the idiots say. LeBron school? No, that's not LeBron school. That's Nike school. And a lot of those kids are failing. Did y'all read the reports on that school? It's Nike's school, and a lot of those kids are failing. And it's not just black people. If you want to point towards a school, look at Jalen Rose's school. Jalen Rose, a couple of years ago, his whole senior class went to college. If you want to look at the school, Jalen Rose, all these niggas got schools. See, they buy dumb niggas off for token gifts from white people. Nike come and open up a school in a black person's name, make the school shitty. Y'all be like, look, they giving us something. Yeah, Bronny had that heart issue, yeah. A lot of these niggas live in fantasy land. And part of this mission that I'm on, that we're talking about StephenASmith, talking about Shannon Sharpe, it's about time, it's high time you niggas that are professional white ass kissers, you niggas that buy everything white people say about somebody just because they're marketed by the machine, you buy all into it, you niggas need to get called out because y'all standing in the way of us getting our shit together. It ain't white people stopping us. It's these niggas that enable it. It's these niggas that defend it. It's these niggas that take white money and shit on everybody else, and they're throwing you out an image of something you could never be, and saying, "Hey, look at the guy saluting Big Meech, and don't look at the guy saying I'm going to rebuild Black Wall Street. Look at the guy that says ain't no party like a Diddy party." Don't look at the guy that's teaching you could be an athlete and work for fucking NASA. You got to know the difference between a white face, a black face that represents white power, and total blackness. You niggas is defending a black face to white power. And I ain't standing for it. And guess what? I'm right. It ain't no agree to disagree. I got the receipts. You don't. I'm right. You wrong. You can have your opinion. I don't care. But don't hit me with no, we just going to agree to disagree. No, fuck nigga, I'm right. Period. But I'm about to get up out of here, y'all. Dr. Randy Short is going to be on Patreon in less than an hour. Me and Dr. Short are going to talk about this Kamala shit. We're going to talk about some politics. And Dr. Short got some very interesting information that I do not want to put on YouTube because my channel is going good. I ain't got no strikes right now. So that's going over on Patreon, all right? So join the Patreon right now. Live interview lounging up. You can be a part of the live interview. For those of you who are on the introductory level, you will get the interview after we're finished with the live interview lounge. The rest of you on Patreon will get it. YouTube, y'all might get a clip or two, depending on how deep Dr. Short goes. If he goes all the way there, you're not going to get no clips. But if I can find some spots that's going to make it safe for me to clip on YouTube, I'll give y'all some clips, all right? I appreciate y'all for listening. Remember this, my quote that came through my spirit, through my ancestors. There are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages. For those willing to pick up the game, let me go ahead and smoke this blunt, and I'll be right back with y'all on Patreon in 45 minutes. All right? Y'all have a good one.